It's the best of the rest. Time to put them to the test. In case your memory is hazy, it's Blaxploitation, baby. This is Black's History Month, a 29-day celebration of Black exploitation films.
What the hell did I just watch? I know I talked about how strange Ganja and Hess is, but Space is the Place makes that movie look like the color purple. The only word I can really use to describe Space is the Place is it's a little eccentric, or maybe even psychedelic. The movie is a little bit science fiction, a little bit musical, a little bit blaxploitation, a little bit documentary. It's a little bit of everything, and the only way any of this makes sense is if I give you a little bit of backstory. Space is the Place began life as somewhat of a biopic or a documentary about Sun Ra, born Herman Blount, a jazz musician who made experimental music and was a pioneer of the Afrofuturism style. I can already see you side-eyeing me like, how can a movie about space with lasers and spaceships and be considered a documentary, let alone a biopic? Well, hear me out. When Sun Ra changed his name to Sun Ra, he abandoned all aspects of his former life and started telling people that he was an alien from Saturn on a mission to promote peace. That's the true story, not the movie plot. So in a way, the movie is the story of the Sun Ra persona, not Herman Blount. Look, I know it all sounds crazy as hell, but as far as I know, the dude wasn't crazy, just eccentric. And to be honest with you, I can't say I don't dig his aesthetic. The outfits, the jewelry, the props, and the stuff that comes with his act is very ancient Egyptian, but in a modern sense, hence the Afrofuturism. It's kind of hard to take your eyes off it all, because it's just so out of place in the middle of what's supposed to be a normal blaxploitation movie. So what about the story? Well, pay attention, because I'm only going to explain this once. Sun Ra mysteriously disappears in 1969, and nobody knows where he went. In reality, he went off into space and discovered a hospitable planet for him and his traveling band of musicians called the Orchestra. He decides that this will be a better place for black people to live other than Earth, and travels back to Earth so he can teleport people there through the power of music. Still with me? Alright then. Sun Ra travels to the 70s, but before we can go there, we go back to the 40s, back to when Sun Ra was just a struggling piano player going as Sunny Ray. He works at a strip club and is setting the stage on fire. No, literally, it's on fire. He's really blowing them away. No explanation for the powers or anything. What you need to know all that for? The only reason we're here is so we could be introduced to the Overseer, a man who masquerades as a pimp, but I guess is actually a god? See, he and Sun Ra are simultaneously playing a game of cards for the fate of the black race, at the same time that Sun Ra and the Overseer are physically on Earth setting things in motion. I know I've lost you by now, but don't worry, it's not really supposed to make a bunch of sense. The movie makes liberal use of time travel and interdimensional theories, and it gets confusing when you see Sun Ra is multiple places all at one time. At least that's what the movie makes it seem like. It's really just poor editing. By far, the movie is the most interesting when Sun Ra gets to interact with everyday black people, because we don't take nothing serious.
Greetings, black youth, planet Earth. I am Sun Ra, ambassador from the intergalactic regions of the Council of Outer Space.
Why are your shoes so big?
Are those moon shoes?
That's the whole point though. Sun Ra knows we're lost and aims to unite us through music. As soon as he works out the kinks and stops putting people in the hospital, there's also this guy who follows Sun Ra around and interviews him about his philosophies. And the movie is also a slick advertisement for the orchestra band, with multiple music breaks. I won't say the music is bad, it's just not for me.
And none can stop you.
Experimental indeed. One thing I found interesting about the movie is that it wasn't even supposed to be a blaxploitation film. Sun Ra was vehemently against violence, nudity, sex, drugs, and alcohol. And the original cut of the film, which Ra personally oversaw, was only about an hour long. But the two producers of the film, one of which was a huge blaxploitation fan, added elements of everything that Sun Ra hated, resulting in an extended cut and 2 different versions of the film. I saw the cut with both versions combined, and the other elements really don't add anything to the film, but it does result in a recurring joke about a guy who keeps getting kicked out of the room every time he thinks he's about to get some triple threat action.
Now, how come you want to do something like that? 2 of them, ain't nothing you can do with 2. What do you say?
Wait for me outside.
What do you want to go and pull some shit like that for? Honey, nothing he can do with 2 of them. You know what?
Space is the Place really didn't even get a theatrical release, mostly making a name for itself in the VHS trading market. I have no idea how much money it cost to make or what the reception was. It's almost like the movie doesn't really exist.
How do you know I'm real?
Yes.
I'm not real. I'm just like you. You don't exist in this society. If you did, your people wouldn't be seeking equal rights. You're not real. If you were, you'd have some status among the nations of the world. So we're both myths. I do not come to you as a reality. I come to you as the myth, because that's what black people are, myths.
Like Sun Ra himself, the movie is an existential enigma.